Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And UFC 305 is finally here. Ritik, you remember we were talking about it a few days ago. Not a lot of hype around this card. Just not that excited. And I did not even know that the card was here. I thought maybe another week away. But I hope the card compensates for it not being up to the hype. But how excited are you for the card?
I'm very excited, man. Especially because of what Dricus Plessis has been doing, man. Like he's been talking so much shit, and so subtly as well. Like he hasn't been loud. He hasn't been cursing Izzy. It's just
Yeah,
simple one or two liners, right? Which pisses
yeah,
off Izzy so much, and it's just amazing because Izzy is just so. I mean, Dricus is definitely in Izzy's head, so I'm super excited for
he
this one.
is.
Yeah.
He is. So, without delaying it any further, even I'm excited for the card at least now. Now that the press conference has happened and Izzy has really shed some tears. So, I hope at least the main event gives us some sort of a finish. But let's move on. We're going to discuss the top three fights of the card, and we're going to start with our first fight, which is Dan Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. And I was just doing some research on this. How impressive has Gamrot's resume been in the last six, seven fights? He's
He's fought
beaten
he's fought
Arman
really good
Kardashian.
fighters, man.
He's like the who's who of the division. Vinil Darius, Jalen Turner, Fiziev, Rafael Dos Anjos. He's fought them all. And Dan Hooker is,
Absolutely.
of course, 4-4 in the
And
last. Oh, actually, yeah, 4-4 in the last eight fights.
even
So,
his first fight in the UFC, his debut fight was against Guram Kutaladze. So and that guy Guram is like he's one of those killers outside the top 15. Like
okay.
because it's the lightweight division, right? I mean, Guram is the guy who
Yeah,
trains with Hamzat, by the way. So
yeah.
I mean, lightweight is already so stacked, and his
It's
first
very
fight
strong.
being Guram was crazy. He lost that fight. It was a very close fight, by the way.
Yeah.
He's just got so many split decisions, man. Like on his resume.
But moving up in the ranks for sure, yeah. I was just having a look at the rankings. Gamrot is fifth. Hooker obviously a 4-4 mixed bag. He's 11th right now. But give us an insight. What do you think is happening in that fight? In this fight, who is winning it?
I just think Dan Hooker is like. I don't think his takedown defense is that good anymore. I mean, not that it was elite at any point in his career, but I just think he's
Hmm.
not in his prime anymore. That fight against
I
Dustin
agree.
Poirier, ever since he fought Dustin, he hasn't been the same. It's like
True.
he seems hesitant to throw at times, and he's been winning fights. He won the last couple of fights, but they were all due to having a great chin, right? And that's not really a good sign. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
when you're fighting someone like Mateusz Gamrot, I'm obviously Gamrot is not going to be the guy to knock him out, obviously, but his wrestling, I think, if I had to rate his overall grappling, I would say he's definitely top three in the lightweight division, or at least top four. Like he's right up there with Islam, Charles, and
None, yeah.
maybe Arman.
Yeah.
He beat Arman, by the way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was some elite showcase of grappling, by the way. And he took Arman down several times. So I would say he's better than Arman in terms of grappling, for sure. But I just don't believe in Dan Hooker's takedown defense is all. I mean, in terms of striking, absolutely. If it does stay on the feet, I can totally see Dan Hooker catching him. I mean, if you remember how Dariush dropped Gamrot, it was insane.
Yeah.
I could totally see Hooker doing the same. Yeah.
And let's not forget, Dan Hooker has one thing that Gamrot might not have a lot of tomorrow, which is the home crowd support.
Right.
That has to count for something.
Absolutely.
But that being said, I think when you get as hit as hard as you get hit when you're Dan Hooker, I think the chin kind of gives away at some point of time. And again, factoring in the wrestling and the grappling part of things and having a poor takedown defense, I feel Gamrot takes this by a very comfortable 30-27 unanimous decision. That's my outcome of the fight.
I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree because if you remember, obviously, I'm not saying Gamrot is anywhere near the level of Islam, but Islam made it look so easy, man. So yeah, but yeah,
Islam makes most people look easy in the
yeah,
division. Let's be
that's true.
yeah. Cool. So we agree on the first one. You think it's going to be a unanimous decision too?
I think it's going to be a decision. Yeah.
Cool. Moving on to the co-main event, which I feel is going to be a very juicy fight because I have less expectations from the main event. Kai Kara France versus Steve Ursig. Ursig has looked very impressive in my opinion in his first fight. And both these guys, I believe, have lost to Pantoja or has No, I think Kai Kara France hasn't fought him, right?
I think he
Yeah.
has. He hasn't?
Kai Kara France hasn't fought uh, the champion. Fuck, I'm forgetting his name.
Pantoja.
Uh, yeah, Alexander Pantoja. But I expect this to be fireworks because both guys are heavy hitters. They swing a lot. And I don't think this fight goes the distance. What do you think about it?
The only reason why I think it's not going to go the distance, even though Kai Kara France has a lot of power in his hands, I just think,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I feel like Usyk is too technical for someone like Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France does mostly the same thing. You know, it's the overhand rights, right?
Yeah.
It's, those 1-2s, and, you know, he just spams those overhand rights. I don't think it's going to be enough for someone like Steve Usyk. Steve Usyk is too technical, as we saw in the last fight and in the fights before that. The way he knocked out Matt Snell, I mean, he just looked so impressive in that fight. And his boxing, in my opinion, is probably the
It's
best
very good.
in the flyweight
Very
division,
good.
in his division at least. Like, it's the best. So that's the only reason why I don't see it ending by a finish. Because if there's anyone who's going to finish the other guy, it's going to be Kai Kara France because he's got the power. Obviously, Steve Usyk did knock out Mashnell, but Mashnell does not have a good enough chin. He gets knocked out by everyone pretty much. So that's the only reason why I think it's going to be a decision win for Steve Usyk. And I honestly think he's going to make Kai Kara France look stupid on the feet.
Yeah, I agree. So you remember we were talking about this yesterday, and I feel that Usyk will get a finish in some capacity. But I was just having a look at his fight versus Alexander Pantoja, in which, by the way, for at least 3 good rounds, he was piecing him up on the feet. He was very good, and Pantoja was struggling with his timing in terms of striking Usyk. But I think I'll also go back on what I was saying. A finish is highly unlikely. I feel that Usyk will definitely make him look stupid. It is
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Kai Kara France will struggle, and I feel it's going to be one of those situations where Kai Kara France tries to go for a finish, and Usyk just catches him.
And it's
He
mostly
just
this,
catches
yeah.
him on the counter.
Yeah, it could happen. I could totally see it happening, and I know it's mostly a styles thing, right? I mean, it's just the styles of both the guys. Not taking anything away from Kai Kara France, I think he's a horrible matchup for anyone who's grappling heavy, because Kai Kara France
Yeah.
has some insane grappling defense, insane
Yeah.
takedown defense. We saw against Amir Albazi that a fight that he probably should have won, the last fight.
Yeah.
We saw against Askar Askarov, right? So I believe in Kai Kara France, but it's just a styles thing. He's not technical enough on the feet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I agree. Cool. Moving on to our main event. Not a lot of expectation from this, but it's Izzy versus Dricus du Plessis, the champion. Obviously, the mind games have been played. I feel Izzy has just not been the same since he lost to Strickland, and it's really been a downward trajectory since then.
You mean
think?
mentally?
Yeah, mentally for sure. I mean, he's not been the same guy. What do you think about where Izzy is at mentally right now? Forget about the octagon.
That's what I'm interested in, to be honest, because I know DDP also touched on this in the press conference, right? He said, what is he even fighting for at this point in his career? He's already achieved everything that he has to achieve.
Yeah.
You know, it's that one record. You know, it's called. I think it's he'll be the third time middleweight champion, I guess. I mean, 3-time middleweight champion after this, and that record is not really a record, is it? I mean, it just shows that you lost the belt 3 times, right? I mean, or twice rather. So it's not really that big of a deal, but yeah, it's, again, I'm not sure what Izzy is fighting for at this point. You know, he tried really hard to push that narrative, sort of tried to race bait DDP a bit.
Yeah.
And you know he has that own, maybe he's doing that to motivate himself, because again, what even is there for him to be motivated by? Because I just think he's achieved everything in his career, and DDP, he's younger, he's definitely hungrier. I mean, the way these guys talk, their attitude.
He just won the belt.
Yeah, he just won the belt. He's gonna get he just got the those extra attribute points after that every champion gets, right? So I think DDP is going to. I honestly think he's going to win. I can totally see Izzy outclassing him on the feet. It can totally happen and that's a big if Dricus does not shoot. And I just hope, and I think Dricus is too smart, to fall into Izzy's traps. I think he may not be the most technical guy, But
Yeah.
if you watch his fights, he's very good at
Yeah.
adjusting in between rounds. The way he
Yeah.
adjusted in between rounds against Whittaker was insane. What he did against Darren Till, so many fighters. In fact,
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he struggled against Darren Till and someone like Derek Brunson. But the way he's just very smart, is what I feel. And I think he's gonna be shooting for his legs pretty much all night. And once he gets a hold of Izzy, I think it's over from there. Because honestly, I get the fact that Izzy is very good at takedown defenses, but he's never fought a grappler of Dricus's caliber, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be by a submission. I think Dricus subs him. Round, I'm not sure. Maybe I would say I would go round 3.
Huge shout. When Izzy initially started fighting in the division, for a lot of grapplers, even like Derek Brunson, it was very tough for them to close the distance and get in on Izzy and get to his legs.
Right.
I'm not sure what the reach advantage is right now over here, but I would like to think that Izzy has a significant reach advantage.
Definitely.
So I feel that Dricus is going to have a hard day in terms of shooting for Izzy's legs and catching hold of him and taking him down to the ground. That's what I feel. But again, the unpredictability and the chaos that Dricus brings to the table, if he can disrupt Izzy's pattern, I think he can get through.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go for a bold prediction. I feel Dricus struggles a bit and Izzy gets the belt back. This is what I feel.
The way of finish?
No, I think it's going to be a unanimous decision. Izzy's going to get booed after it. He's going to be, in a way, running for dear life, not trying to engage a lot in the pocket.
Izzy versus Jared Cannonier Part 2.
Exactly. That's what I feel. I feel Dricus will struggle a bit to get, but Izzy doesn't hold on to the belt for long.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Even if he does win, there's no guarantees. Because in fact, I think if he does win, they're going to make Alex versus Izzy for sure. I mean, that's what they're hoping for. Because they gave Alex an easy fight in Khalil round 3. I mean, which makes absolutely zero sense. I mean, it's really it's a cakewalk for Alex, right? And I think
Izzy, it's going to be at light heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nothing left for him at middleweight if we're being realistic, right? I mean, as I said, as you said, like he's not going to hold on to it for long, right? So why not make the biggest fight possible from a business standpoint? It's perfect for UFC, and I think that's what they're trying to do as well. They're hoping that DDP loses to him so that they can book. And obviously, I mean, I think everyone knows like Alex Pereira should win. I'm not going to say that he will win for sure because it's MMA. Anything could happen in a fight, but he should win. I mean, it's quite obvious, right? But yeah, you're right about Izzy, having that insane reach over DDP. It's like he's got a 5-inch reach advantage. I get that, but you know what DDP does really well in terms when it comes to closing distance. What other fighters cannot do, but DDP is able to do is land hard shots. He would land in a he strikes in a very weird way, sort of like if you remember how Juliana Pena fought. Amanda Nunes in the second fight. That's how he strikes. But like when it does connect, he's very powerful, right? Obviously, Juliana Pena isn't as strong, obviously, but when Dricus hits, he's very strong. So that's how he usually closes the distance.
And on and off, he also lands those awkward elbows, which kind of do rock a person.
Absolutely.
And after getting finished the way he did get finished by Alex, I feel it kind of takes away from your chin as well. So
I agree.
I mean, you really never know. Let's see. So I think we're aligned on 2 results to go the same way, and the main event can really go either way. Although I'm not the biggest Izzy fan, and I don't want him to win, but
same.
That's where I feel it's going to go. And let's see tomorrow what happens, and we're going to be back with a post-event reaction as well. Also, shout out, I'm going to be very excited about Tai Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I feel
that's going to be a banger.
There's going to be some sort of a finish in that fight. I don't see that fight going 3 rounds.
Absolutely.
So, let's see. Maybe we see Tuivasa doing a shui after the fight. You never know. Yeah. Cool. We'll see you tomorrow, guys, after the card. And stay tuned. Keep on giving us.
I got to leave, guys, because at least my servant is at the door. I'm quite privileged. So I got to open the door. That's all.
All right. It's been great, bro. Let's connect tomorrow.
See you.